All right, well, it's a huge race, but can be traced back all the way to the 5th century. Do you guys know which race that is that exists today? No? It's the marathon. It's one of the most famous races is being run today and has origins that are deep rooted in history. Basically, the marathon is a 26.2 mile race, but it's popular today both among elite people, as far as the Olympics, as well as amateurs, everyday people. All right, so I'll talk to you guys about the origins. So it began with the legend of the Battle of Marathon. So there's a legend that there was this guy named Theodippides, and
Great.
basically he ran all the way to tell Athens that they had won the war in the Battle of Marathon. And upon telling them, he fell flat on his face because he had run so far. And so the first Olympics in Greece in 1896, they had a race to honor him in his running pursuit. And so they created a race that was 24.85 miles and ran that in honor of him. The 1908 Olympic Games, the distance was changed to 26.2 miles in order to make, basically the extension was added so that the king wouldn't have to move. He could sit in his royal palace and watch the finish. So basically, because the king was being lazy, that's why it's 26.2 now instead of 24.5. So the marathon in the Olympics. The marathon has been in every single Olympic Games. It's one of the few events that can actually claim that. So it's one of the foundational events in the Olympics. It's a great test of supreme mental and physical strength. The marathon is often the barometer for how fit someone is, how mentally tough they are, just because it's such a difficult race. Marathon in the Olympics, records are broken constantly. I mean, you have new times being completed all the time. Winners have come from all over the world. USA, Japan, Ethiopia, you name it, there's been winners from everywhere. The time has changed dramatically. The first winning time was 2 hours and 55 minutes. The fastest now in the Olympics is 2 hours and 6 minutes. And that's a long time in running. So it's changed pretty dramatically. And one of the biggest changes in the Olympics is women. Women had to battle very significantly to be able to run in the marathon. In fact, before 1980, the longest race that women were allowed to run or able to run was the 1500 meter, which is a mile. And so they've had just a long history of trying to battle, but finally in 1980, in the Los Angeles Games, they got into the Olympics for the very first time. So the marathon is also very popular among amateurs. It was once thought that only the physically elite could even finish a marathon, and now today, people of all ages, shapes, and sizes are finishing them. Especially since 2000, it's begun to become really popular to run a marathon. And so you have kind of two different types of popular marathons right now. Big city, you guys have probably heard of the Boston Marathon, where there was the bombing, but there's ones in Chicago, New York. There's also fun marathons as well. There's a marathon in Disney World. They have all kinds of fun themed, special, just out for holidays, that people can run. So it's really popular among different kinds of people. In conclusion, the marathon has did originate from a legend and has basically become a worldwide phenomenon from that. So now that you know the history of the marathon, know a little bit more about it, the question is, would you dare to run one?